Welcome back, guys, to Moosa Reacts. Obviously, breaking news, Mason Greenwood statement for Manchester United. It looks like the club are welcoming Mason Greenwood back. We've been seeing it over the last couple of months, a lot of things being leaked to the press regarding his situation, him training, being back with his girlfriend, them having or expecting a baby. Step by step, we've been hearing more and more stuff about Mason Greenwood and regarding Mason Greenwood. We've learned that the club has been doing an internal investigation and to see if they're going to let him back. Everybody assumed it will be a loan, but since the season has started and we've got 2 weeks left of the transfer window and still no news about Mason Greenwood, and it looks like the loan to me is just out. Of the something that we can just forget about. It's either they're going to bring him back into the club or they're not. But as it looks like from the statement that we've seen today that was released by United following the changes or the charges against Mason Greenwood in February, the club itself, as they say, they've conducted a thorough investigation. This investigation has been intensive and is still going on because they've had a lot of evidence to look at. The club continue to talk about that they have a responsibility for Mason Greenwood as a young employee and someone who's been at the club since a very young age. They also continue to talk about the fact-finding phase in the investigation and them having to go through it and to complete it before making a decision. They say, contrary to the media and what people have been talking about and all the speculations, they haven't yet made a decision. But even though they say that, then they still go on to say, but once they've made that decision, they will communicate it to the media and let people know. But I think one of the most important aspects in the statement that was released about Mason Greenwood, from what I read, was the part where they say that that only partial evidence has been put out into the public domain. So when they say partial evidence, to me, they're basically saying there's more evidence that they've looked at that tells them something different. And what that something different is what's going to allow them to allow Mason Greenwood to come back at the club. I've said it for a long time. Whether you agree with Mason Greenwood being allowed back in the club or you don't, and you prefer for him to be sold or for him to never even play football again, the club find themselves in a difficult situation. Because even though he hasn't been charged for anything and all charges were dropped earlier in the year, the problem that you have, the person who was meant to have brought the charges up is the person who doesn't want to press charges. And from what we've known, they've never pressed charges against Mason Greenwood in the first instance. The only reason Mason Greenwood was arrested was, from what we've seen in the public domain, was off the back of what was put out in the media. But the person themselves, i.e. his girlfriend, she never pressed charges against Mason in the beginning at all. So they never really had a case to go with. And how I see it, it's like someone having their bike stolen. The police are called up, they turn up, and then when they go to the person who's had their bike stolen, they say, no, it wasn't stolen. It was my friend that took it. I thought it was stolen. So it's like you got called out for no reason. You was looking for someone, but once the person themselves say that no crime has taken place, and whatever phone call you got or whatever you think you heard, that isn't the case, then the club find themselves in a difficult situation. And I just think it's not as easy as people think, Mason Greenwood, he shouldn't play for the club again. I.e., had the person, his girlfriend, continued to say that she felt that she was assaulted by him or whatever was indecent, and she felt unhappy with the fact that he was allowed to continue his career, even though he wasn't charged, and even if the charges or there wasn't enough evidence, the club wouldn't allow Mason Greenwood to come back. They wouldn't allow him to come back at all. I think the only reason they're allowing him to come back is because, i.e., the person, his girlfriend, who was expecting his child, who they're planning to get married, she's the one that's saying nothing happened. It's not what it seems like. No, what's in the public is only a small part of what really took place. The club's really got their hands tied behind the back. What can they do when the person himself is saying nothing happened? They've got to let him back, got to allow him to continue his career, especially like they said, someone that's been at the club for a long time. So whether you like Mason Greenwood or not, is he relevant? And like I was saying earlier on the Mandem show, if Mason Greenwood ends up having a stinker in his first season and then goes into the next season still having a stinker, a lot of people will be calling for him to get sold anyway, and the club might just do that. So, you know, things have a funny way of unveiling and happening. But I don't know what you guys are. What's your thoughts? Should Mason Greenwood be given a second chance at the club? Do you think that some people are, you know, jumping on this moral compass, but they're not having the same energy towards other players in the Premiership who are also on bail for similar charges? We know that these things kind of happen across sport, basketball, American football, boxing, you know, athletics, numerous levels of sports. We hear these type of things happen, and sometimes people don't carry the same energy towards it. Is it because it's just Man United, or do you just think that's just an excuse? What we heard and saw from the videos is enough for us to be like, no, he shouldn't play for the club again. What's your thoughts on it, guys? You know, leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think about it. I'll try to answer back, and don't forget to like and subscribe and to share. I'll see you guys again. I'm out.